Hello, and welcome to our lesson on environmental and ethical issues in SCM. This segment will cover being responsible towards the environment. Being responsible for the environment is one aspect of a business's social responsibility and should be considered when devising strategies. According to the UK's Environmental Protection Act 1990, the environment consists of all or any of the following media, namely the air, water, and land. And the medium of air includes the air within buildings and the air within the natural or man-made structures above or below the ground. Essential areas of environmental concern include the following. More efficient use of raw materials in manufacturing operations applies especially to timber and minerals. Consumer concern about rainforests has directly impacted the demand for tropical hardwoods, which has affected timber producers, wholesalers, and users. Of about 80 minerals used by industry, some 18, including lead, sulfur, tungsten, and zinc, are in relatively short supply. Such materials will be subject to rising prices and demands for recycling. Pollution and waste. Pollution is defined by the Environmental Protection Act 1990 as pollution of the environment due to the release, into an environmental medium, from any process of substances that are capable of causing harm to man or any other living organism supported by the environment. Energy savings. Energy to the power industry is provided by the environment from such sources as wood, fossil fuels, water, sunlight, wind, and uranium. Environmental procurement may be defined as procurement involvement in supply chain activities in order to facilitate recycling, reuse, and resource reduction. It is subject to a vast range of international and national environmental legislation and directives. Most international law is enforced using national processes, although EU laws can be enforced via the European Court of Human Rights. Many EU environmental directives relating to quality, water, waste, chemicals, and packaging waste have been issued. European legislation represents the minimum environmental demands and is legally binding for all EU member states. The European Information Service and the European Information Centres offer comprehensive lists of pertinent legislation. UK legislation. There is a plethora of legislation on the theme environment, including the Climate Change Act 2008, the Clean Air Act 1993, the Water Act 2014, the Flood and Water Management Act 2010, the Radioactive Substances Act 1993, the Packaging Regulations 2013, the Waste Electrical and Electronic Equipment Regulations 2009, and the Environmental Protection Act 1990. The latter contains important provisions relating to integrated pollution control. Best available technology does not entail excessive cost, BATNEC, requiring companies using major polluting processes to spend as much on clean technology as they can afford. Air pollution control. Waste disposal and recycling. Waste is defined in the Act as any substance which constitutes a scrap material or an efficient or other unwanted surplus substance from the application of any process. Any substance or article which requires to be disposed of as being broken, worn out, contaminated, or otherwise spoiled. Anything which is discarded or otherwise dealt with as if it were waste shall be presumed to be waste unless the contrary is proved. Control of dangerous substances and nuisances. Many directives also relate to such environmental areas as air, chemicals, energy, land, noise, and statutory nuisance, plant protection, pollution, radioactive substances, and waste. Details of these are available from the Department of the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRE, and websites such as www.netregs.org.uk, the UK's environmental regulations on the Internet, the Environment Agency, which combine the HM Inspector of Pollution, the National Rivers Authority, and local authority waste regulators, was established by the Environmental Act 1995 and is responsible for pollution prevention and control in England and Wales. This is the end of this segment of our lesson. In the next segment, we shall discuss environmental procurement policies and management. This course is presented to you by South Europe College. Thank you for listening, and see you on our next segment.